So, Dr. J, do I need disability insurance?
Well, Katie, you're going on to start your own business now. Is that kind of where you're at?
Yep.
Cool. So let me ask you this: what happens if you get hurt?
Depends on how hurt. So, I'm working online, so I might still be able to do some stuff, but yeah, I wouldn't have much of a backup plan.
This is the truth for most child-free and childless folks. Disability insurance really important. Life insurance not so important. We have a separate video on life insurance, but disability insurance is saying, hey, what happens if I'm hurt, injured, get sick, and end up in a place? So now people go, well, Social Security will cover you. Social Security disability insurance covers like nothing. I mean, like you're talking like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month max, which most people are gonna have trouble paying their like house bill or like their groceries on. So disability insurance becomes more important. Katie, do either of you or your husband have a day job, or we would just work on their own company?
I'm moving from day job to own company. My husband has his own company.
Cool. So we need double disability insurance. We both need.
Yep.
By the way, also because you have a small business, there's actually business continuity insurance to keep the business running if you can't do it. So that's a separate discussion. Well, let me give you a couple examples of this. And by the way, we have a separate video on healthcare, but the people that are in the most need right now are people who have health issues and disability together. Their finances get destroyed. If you're in one of those cases, reach out to us. It's hard because working with a financial planner costs money, but you gotta figure out these systems. So let's say for ha-has, not really funny, but ha-has, either one of you had a stroke. Now for the rest of your life, your working career, you got no money or limited money. Now, people go, well, disability, they think about like I broke my arm. Yeah, that's not really a disability, okay? That is, I've had a rough week. You have a stroke, which happens to a lot of good, healthy people, and now your life has changed. Heart attack, strokes, cancer, any type of those type of diseases. So disability, the way it works is it covers usually 60 to 70% of your income. And the way it works is if you pay for it out of pocket, like you actually pay for it, you'll get it income tax free. It's one of those few times where you don't have to pay income taxes. If your company pays for it, so you work for somebody or your company pays for it, takes tax deduction, you pay taxes on it. So by the way, pay for it yourself if you can, like seriously. And being a small business owner, actually, it's going to be harder to get disability insurance a little bit because you have to prove that you have income, what type of company you have, and your disability insurance is going to be based on what type of business you run. So if you run a high risk business, then it's going to be a lot more expensive than a low risk. And I tried to figure this out. I was working with an insurance company, help me understand this risk stuff around disability. They have math behind it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm working a desk job, they give an example, an accountant is actually on the lowest risk. But I was working with somebody who's a music teacher and there was a higher risk. And I'm like, why isn't, I don't know, but their data says, so you got to figure that out. The reason why we do 60 or 70% is because you're not going to be paying taxes on it. So you can get away with 60 or 70%. There also, what you'll see on disability is both short-term and long-term disability. Short-term is kind of 3 to 6 months, 2 to 4 months, something, a couple weeks. Long-term is the long haul. If you have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund, then you can take a long-term disability plan. It doesn't kick in for 6 months. If you don't have an emergency fund, you need both a short-term and a long-term disability plan, which is going to be expensive. The other thing you can look at for disability is how long is it going to cover you. Some of them cover you to 65 because normal retirement age, some to 70, some for life, who knows? But that's all going to adjust the cost. What you want to be doing is looking and saying, okay, cool. How much risk can I take? And how does this work out? So some plans will increase over time because of the cost of living. Some won't. Social Security luckily does increase over time. Some work with your Social Security, some don't. So you're going to want to work with somebody to actually figure out a plan. I recommend a company called LLIS.com. There's a link below. You can get a quote for disability, life insurance, or other types of insurance you need there. They'll work with you to get a quote. I don't make any money off that. It's just a recommendation. I like the company. But then you have to look and say, okay, what can I afford? And people go, well, I can't afford this disability bill. I go, yeah. So how are you going to pay your bills if you get disabled? And they're like, I'm like, you're going to have to make some adjustments in your budget to make it fit. What do you think, Katie?
Yeah, I think this is one that I'll definitely figure out how to keep. I know I've had some disability insurance through my employer, and that's actually what I have a question about. So this will be my first year going through the Affordable Care Act for insurance. I'm used to doing all of these things together through my employer, but it sounds like maybe this is separate, where I'm not going to be doing this at the same time as I'm picking up my health insurance plan this time. Is that right?
Yeah, if you have an employer, you got a regular W 2 income, they'll have open enrollment, and once a year they do like everything at once. You're a small business owner, you have to choose when you do it. And that's kind of like, uh, mm, mm, and by the way, like your disability plan, as you make more money, you're gonna have to adjust that insurance to cover more. Welcome to owning your own business. This is the fun. So you have to figure that out. The other thing is, people often like try to kick this can down the road. Oh, I'm healthy now. Well, as soon as you are not, you can't qualify for it. So it's like, unless you have the crystal ball and you know exactly when you're going to need it, you're going to figure it out. And it has no connection to your health insurance or anything else. It's a completely separate policy that you're going to have to figure out how to pay for.